Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Ms. Sukma Yana as a lecturer of Metodologi and the entire seminar audience. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me. And let me introduce myself. My name is Sukma Yana from third graduate of Accounting Department. And today I will present about my research proposal with title Drafting a Cash Flow Statement of Koperasi X period 2020. Before I start the presentation, I would like the sequence of the seminar. This seminar is divided into 5 parts consisting of research background, formulation of problem and objective, literature review, benefit research, and the last, research method. Okay, I will start the seminar with the first part, research background. In this slide, I will explain why I choose the title of my research. Background. Koperasi X engaged in the business of saving and loan services, shops, and photocopying. In preparing the financial statement, Koperasi X referred to the SAK etap. Meanwhile, in distributing the remaining operating result or SRO, distribute directly in cash. So, in order to determine the ability of the cooperative to distribute the remaining operating result, it can be seen through the cash flow statement. The problem is, until the end of 2020, Koperasi X haven't drafting a cash flow statement. If the cash flow statement has been prepared and the free cash flow is calculated, it can be used as a consideration in making decisions related to the use and receipt of cash. Based on this background, it's necessary to prepare a cash flow statement. We are going to the next part is formulation of the problem. Formulation of the problem is number 1. Is Koperasi X have drafted a cash flow statement period 2020? And number 2. Is Koperasi X has free cash flow in 2020? Objective. This formulation will produce objective including to provide drafting a cash flow statement and to calculate the free cash flow of Koperasi X period 2020. Next is literature review. Based on Article 1 of Law Number 25 of 1992, cooperative are business entities whose members are individual or cooperative legal entities by basing their activities on the principle of cooperative as well as people economic movement based on the principle of kinship. Next, based on regulation of Minister of Koperasi and UMKM, Chapter 3, the real sector of cooperative must present a financial report that is published at least 1 month before annual member meeting or RAT all held, in the form of balance sheet, calculation of business result or SRO, capital statement, cash flow statement, and the last, notes to financial statement. Cash flow statement. What is the definition of the cash flow statement? Cash flow statement is a report that provides information on change in cash and cash equivalent due to cash outflow and inflow in an entity which are caused by operating, investing, and financing activities. Purpose. If the cash flow statement is used in conjunction with other financial statements, it can provide information that can evaluate change in net asset, financial structure, including liquidity and solvency. Classification. According to Kieso et al., the cash flow statement has 3 classifications, namely operating, investing, and financing activities. Drafting. How to drafting a cash flow statement. The first step is to determine the method to be used. There are 2 methods, namely direct method and indirect method. This is an example for direct method, and this is an example for indirect method. You can see the difference between the 2 methods is in the calculation of operating activities. Under the direct method, income and expense reported on accrual basis are converted to cash basis. Whereas under the indirect method, net income is adjusted by correcting the effect of non-cash transaction. The most effective way to find out financial flexibility is by calculating free cash flow. Free cash flow can be calculated by formula net cash from operating activities reduced by capital expenditure and dividend. Benefits research. This research has the following benefits. Number 1, to provide information about drafting a cash flow statement to determine the entity financial flexibility, and to provide information about drafting a cash flow statement as a reference and comparison for future research. Okay, we are going to the last part is research method. There are 3 parts of the research method. The first one is method of collecting data. In this research, I used direct interview with cooperative employees, and documentary study consists of financial report, list of fixed assets, and selected data transaction as a method of collecting data. The second is classification of data. According to their character, there are 2 classifications of data. Number 1 is quantitative data, consists of comparative balance sheet, income statement, and selected data transaction. And number 2 is qualitative data, consists of history of company, line of vision, mission, and business, and organizational structure. Classification of data. According in search, there are 2 classifications of data. Number 1 is primary data, consists of company profile, descriptive data of financial statement, and organizational structure. Number 2 is secondary data, consists of comparative balance sheet, income statement, and selected data transaction. And the third is method of writing. In this research, I used description method and exposition method as a method of writing. Number 1 is description method. The data that I use in this writing method is general information and organizational structure. Number 2 is exposition method. The data that I use in this writing method is cash flow statement and calculation. Finally, we come to the last session of this seminar. Before I close my presentation, allow me to say a sentences, and hopefully the sentences can raise our spirit. The sentences is from Keshav Bhatt, which read, start believing, start dreaming, and create the life and person that you really want to see. That's all my presentation. Thank you to all audience for your participation. Hopefully the information that I have shared today will be useful. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.